other amazing things. Ramon, if you would take a moment and introduce yourself to the viewers.
Hey everybody, Akia, thank you first of all for all that you're doing. I know over the past few weeks we've been watching you, and this show is something that's very much needed. So thank you for having me on. Like Akia said, Ramon Tookes, born and raised right here in Atlanta, and this is year 25 of me being in this business. I started my freshman year of college, and I've been at it ever since. So good and bad. We've done a ton of deals, not only here in Atlanta, but across the country. And I love every aspect of this business, from fixing and flipping to wholesaling to buying, holding. And I also love to educate other people. So
Introduce
that's me in
yourself.
a nutshell. What I can say is I really, if you know somebody that loves the business, I'm one of those people, no matter what the market's like.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about the business. How long have you been in real estate, in the real estate industry, and what made you decide to get into real estate investing?
Well, this is year 25.
Wow.
Um, I got into it to make money. So, I was 19, so I didn't have some of the same things that over the years I have began to love as far as development in communities, helping other people. It was solely about me making some money when I
Right.
first started.
Wow. So 25 years in the business, you wanted to get into make money. What did you start off doing when you first got into real estate investing?
Bird dogging. Yep, we started off as bird dogs.
Property scout? Mhm.
So, to me, people always say, what's the difference in bird dogging and wholesaling? I think bird dogging is more of a referral system. Wholesaling, you should have more control over the properties. Back when we first started, we just go get them. I go find a deal, a Kia. If I knew you were a buyer, I would bring you the lead. You give me a $500 to $1,000 when you close it. And that was how sophisticated it was then. Um, Now it's a little bit different. So we learned how to wholesale, but bird dogging is how I started.
Wow. So you were a property scout, bird, and I always call it property scout because I'm like bird dog, and it sounds so, you're a property scout. So you were scouting for properties for investors and learning the industry. And then how did you transition from being a property scout into building and developing neighborhoods?
So, buying and holding has always been what I saw people that built wealth. So we started off with rental properties,
Okay.
and then we evolved into fixing and flipping, which
Okay.
became, sexier later. The shows were not out, in the early 90s. There wasn't a lot of education on it. So, we began to fix and flip. But buying and holding was and still is my favorite strategy. So that was right after we started. And you say property scouting. So property scouting, we evolved into having rental properties and then to buying, fixing and flipping, then development from there.
Wow, fantastic. And I know that, I've been to your Thursday events with the deal finders and events, and you have always said that you're from Atlanta, so you know the area, you know the neighborhoods, you buy in these neighborhoods. What is your thoughts just on the overall development over the last 25 years over in the Atlanta, Georgia market?
It's amazing because we grew up here. You
Mhm.
know, we didn't know the neighborhoods were bad when they were that bad, but
Right,
um, when you get older, you look back and say, wow, all the housing projects, all the neighbor, and they really were not that bad.
right,
A lot of people call those neighborhoods bad because it was, you call it crime, but there was a lot of black people in it, and people, I hope nobody gets offended. I mean, I don't care, but that's
right,
the only reason because they're the same neighborhoods minus the housing projects that they were 25 years ago.
right,
Castleberry, still Castleberry is just a different element moved in,
right,
more money were poured into it, but the same older people that were there that have not been moved out or moved out were there then. So, the development is beautiful. Some
right,
people look at gentrification as being something bad. I don't. It's progress. So I'm probably a part of it, but there's some things that I have seen and that's why we're so adamant about what we do. Um, is if I didn't like it, I get in and make the change. So over
right.
the past 25 years, I enjoy what I see
Wow.
for the most part. for the most part.
And so I know I've seen that you're doing a couple of new constructions. What are your thoughts on buying and holding versus new construction? I know that it's a difference there, a different strategy, and you have you're in multiple different strategies currently, correct?
Yep. So, new construction is, short term, and I put it in the category with fixing and flipping because we're looking to get in and get out of something. So, that should be our bigger chunks. Buying and holding is long term. Hopefully, we will receive monthly cash flow and our equity will go up over time. And that's something that we can leave to our families, to our children, and something for our retirement.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So now, 25 years in the business, you've seen neighborhoods develop and change, and now you're doing, construction and buying and holding. With this whole coronavirus and everything that's going on, how has it affected your business, or has it affected your business? And what are your thoughts on it? Because 25 years, you've been through, the market going through corrections in the past and things that have happened. So what are your thoughts on just this whole?
Well, Kia, this is something that nobody could have ever predicted, even the greatest of the greatest financial analysis, right?
Yeah.
Has it affected us? Not really, but it will. I think prices will start to take a little hit. Hopefully, we won't take too big of a bloodbath. I don't want to see all the foreclosures. I don't care. I made a post yesterday about
I watched
people people wanting to see. Oh, we're gonna have all these great deals, right?
Right.
Comes along with that, you're gonna have a lot of people that are out of homes. You're going to have less ways to capitalize because funding is going to dry up, interest rates are going to increase. So it's not going to be that great of a market as most people think. You got a lot of people that that's what do you call it? That's a fad. That's kind of, oh man, it's exciting to say that, but we don't want people that can invest. I don't want to see boarded up vacant houses. I don't want to see, stuff sitting out on the side of the street like that. So I think the coronavirus has affected us in a way that we don't understand what's going to be the outcome. We don't know if it's going to be 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. Is it going to take us a couple of years to recover? What I will say is I don't think anything will ever be the same again.
Really?
I don't think so. No. How could it be? I probably would never walk into a restaurant. And I know this sounds crazy. It will be a long time before I walk in without a mask or gloves. Like
Right.
it's a funny feeling.
Right.
Same thing. They're opening up barbershops on Friday. I had already kind of said, I want to give my barber some gloves and a mask because I love, that's my social life to go in the barbershop. Right. But I don't know. I'm probably not, my kids are definitely not going.
Right.
And I'm probably not going to go. So,
Right.
Akia, as far as the business side of things, it hasn't affected us that much yet. Permitting slowed down. It's kind of funny, but we're still working, and the counties and cities have figured that out. So I'm going to say not much right now.
Oh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And to your point, as far as going into the barbershops and things like that, I know with my daughters, ever since this coronavirus has happened, they don't go in the grocery stores anymore. If they want, just to get out the house, I'll let them go for the car ride, and my older daughter's in the car, but I don't usually let them all come out or go inside the way, normally it would be a fun time to go into the grocery stores. But now it's scary. You don't want anyone to get sick. Everyone's got a mask. I know I was in Kroger the other day and a gentleman was coughing and I'm like, get him out the store.
It's a weird feeling, we don't know. We don't understand
gloves and a mask too. I'm like, this is nuts,
Yeah.
It's really crazy, how things can change in an instant, and you just have to, I guess, be prepared for those things when they happen. And like you said, with this, no one could have predicted it. You can't, it's not something that you prepare for.
Yeah. Yep. And then I don't think we blame anybody for it. I hear people talking about the president and the governors and the mayors. I think what we do is we pray for all of them because I would wish that position on nobody. You know what I mean? Like I would not want to be making a decision on when do we open, how many people do we give money to, how much money I wouldn't want to make that decision. So I pray for everybody that's involved in the decision making because it affects us all. I hope Trump comes up with something like so fantastic that nobody in the world would ever believe it, because here's the thing. If he doesn't, it's only going to continue to affect us negatively. If
Right.
he does, so be it. I don't care who's the president. Kia, people get mad. I don't care who's the president. I'm the president and CEO of my house,
Yes.
right? And that's where it starts at. It's our houses, our communities, and it goes up. I don't care what Trump does. I mean, I want him to do good things, but if he doesn't, if he does, I mean, what can
Right.
we do about it?
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I haven't watched anything in the presidency since he's been the president. The last thing I remember about Trump was The Apprentice, and I like my world that way. I'm not affected by it. I'm like, I pray that the world is amazing, and I just leave it that way. I'm like, what? I heard something about a wall. I'm like, I don't pay attention to any of it. All I know is at the end of the day, I need success in my home, and that's
Yep.
my focus, and everything else is just noise. And I know
Yep.
it definitely, certain things in the economy will affect us, but at the end of the day, we can't get so bogged up in it that it affects your daily life that you're discussing it on and on
Correct.
and on. So I'm not political at all in any way. And I totally, agree with you 100% on that. Just like, I wish greatness on all of them for sure.
Yep. Yep.
It's a tough job. So,
Yep. And they can have it.
yeah. And speaking of tough jobs, you're also a father. And an amazing father at that. I can tell you that, when I've seen you at the schools with your children, I know that you are a man that gets up super early in the morning. How is it that you juggle being an amazing dad, running a business, being Mr. Flipology? How do you do it all?
Well, Kia, after God, they come first, right? And I always people say, kind of rank your life, and it should be, God, yourself, your children, family and business after that, right? But I think mine is truly, God, my children, probably my business, then me. That's something I'm working on, putting myself first. Um, because if I'm not in good shape, they're not in good shape. But I always look at it as if, they didn't ask to be here. So I'm gonna do whatever I can to make this the best life that they can have. And not mean that doesn't mean spoiling them because they're gonna say I'm like the worst with that. But
Right,
I understand that my job, my role is to uh, provide and protect and set the best example and be a support system for them, even when they don't want me at the school, even when they, feel like, hey, Dad, you're getting old. Like, I'm not old because we
right,
listen to the same music, like they were like, why are you listening to that? I'm like, because I like it. That's what I listen to that, and so I know that my job, when you say job, my job is to be a great father. Like
right,
there is no, like I don't have, no matter what's happening, I know that they come first. They
right,
are, they come before me. So I mean, that's Kia, you just have to figure it out. So some days I don't think I'm being a great father.
right,
Like when this thing first started, kind of letting them lay around, letting my 4-year-old watch too much iPad or too much TV, during the school day. I'm like, man, am I really? Is this?
right,
But you figure it out.
right,
Everybody has each child is different and you have to learn. You're not able to use the same methods on every child. Each child needs a different plan. Each child can be disciplined differently. So it just, you grow. And I had a great father,
right.
and I had a great grandfather. I had a great. I've had some great men in my life. So I've seen nothing but greatness out of men in my life. So I really don't have a choice.
Well, we appreciate it. Us as moms, we appreciate seeing amazing men and amazing fathers. And my hat's off to you because when I look at you, I'm like, Ramon's really an amazing dad. I know you say, I'm getting my kids up in the morning, making sure you take your kids to school every single morning when school is in. And those things are important when it comes to the development of children and when it comes to the keys to success and not only, in business, but in being a parent. That's really important. So hats off to you for that. Um, and I know, speaking of amazing men, you have a program on Sunday evenings, or is it every evening, or is it just Sunday evenings at 11 p.m.?
So Sunday evenings,
Okay.
we pray. It's we get on the phone from 11 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we talk
Hmm.
for a few minutes. We pray, and then we make sure we're here for other men. And this all started, Kia, back in I think September of 2019 at University of Wealth Building, which is another one of our platforms.
Right.
We had a series on men and mental health. And so a lot of the times, as men, especially black men, we were told, hold it in. You can't cry. From little kids, like, you better not cry. That's it. Boy, you better not cry, right?
Right.
And so, but we've held it in, and it has to come out some kind of way. And
Right.
so it may not come out as a tear, but it may come out as anger. It may come out as insecurity. It may come out as um, whatever it may be. But
Right.
also, during that meeting, we learned that most men have heart attacks or commit suicide between Sunday night and Monday morning. And
Wow.
so I started thinking about that. What happens? The work week is coming. Most men, we want to be providers and protectors, and that's what happens on Monday traditionally. In the traditional world, Monday is when the bill collectors start back calling. Monday is when we got to go to work. So we listen to all these facts, and I thought about something too. When I was a kid, we grew up right there in Kirkwood. My grandmother lived in Kirkwood,
Wow.
and on Monday mornings, a woman couldn't come in her house first, right? She
Right.
don't care who the man is. If you were my aunt and you were coming over there and it was 7 o'clock, but another man, not my grandfather and not one of us, had not stepped foot in that front door, she wouldn't let the woman in. And something was about that Monday morning was special. And so I kept thinking Monday morning, Monday morning. So we formed this organization, Monday Morning Men, and it's a nonprofit for the starting off with to strengthen the mental health awareness for men. And so on Sunday night, we just talk about it. We say who we are, where we're from. Lately we've been talking about ways to cope with the stress of being in the house all day, or same thing, having the kids around all day. Just things that we can do to cope with that. And then we tell each other, listen, if you're dealing with something, let us know. If you need somebody to talk to, let us know. And then you reach out to one man, and then you have him reach out to one man. So eventually, what we see the vision of it is we will have networks around the country that men will feel comfortable talking, and not I mean really, like, hey man, listen, I want to leave. We had somebody say, man, I'm ready to leave home, right? And so we was like, for what? Like, nothing's out there, bro. Like, if you list these things and these things are there, then you got to figure out how to make it work, because nothing's going to be perfect. So we want to be that network, that men can reach out to, so that we are better as men, so we're better providers, better protectors, better. We live longer. We're healthier,
Right.
mentally, physically, spiritually, and then the financial piece comes later. My buddy Beyond has a shirt that says spiritually, mentally, physically, financially fit. And he always says financially is at the bottom, because if all those other things are in line, the money will come. But
Right.
if you get the money and you're messed up mentally, or you're not physically or spiritually fit,
So
then
important.
it's a different kind of animal. So that organization is something that we're taking pride in, Kia. It is growing. Um, People will be amazed, the conversations that we have, and I pray that we
To be
continue
a
to have
part
those,
of.
you know, every single week, and then it grows into something that is something that you'll see on TV, and we're doing things in the community, and that's
Amazing.
what we want to do.
That's amazing. Is there any age group for the men that are on that call? Is it 18, or is it just any men could be on the
We
call?
want any male, and we post that every week. If
Mhm.
you have a son, if you have a nephew, if you have a husband, a brother, like, just share it with them. Like, it's amazing how many people, um I guess, like, we're not like rah 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 rah, we throwing around money on the meeting,
Right.
right? So people are saying, yeah, we might get on, yeah, we might get on, but it's cool, right?
Right.
Because the people that are supposed to be on will be on, but it's open for all men. And I tell you something funny, we posted, and we had a lady jump on one night, right? And so we heard her voice. We was like, "Hey," and she was like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" She was so happy, and so we was like, You're not allowed on here." She was like, "Are you serious?" And so I was like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And she was like, well, "What kind of call is this?" And we was like, "It's a men's only call." So later, when I connected with her, she was like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, "No, most people probably didn't read the flyer and they
Right.
get on, but we know it's a few ladies listening in, and we're cool with that, but it's for men. It's for the sanity and the mental health and awareness for men. Like, because
It's
Akia, we need it.
important.
We
No,
need it.
I have brothers. I know. I'm the oldest of 10. And I have beyond the 10. My father has more, so I have like 16 brothers. So or 10 brothers. I don't know. I have a lot. So I know that the mental health of men is very important, and I commend you and thank you for doing that and taking the initiative and the lead on that, because it's something that's needed in our community. And the fact that you said women are listening in on the call, that is hilarious. Like,
It's funny. Oh, it's funny.
what are you doing? Nosy.
You know, so one of my friends told me that he caught his significant other listening, and I said, "Well, you know what? It's good that she's listening because now she sees what we're talking about, and hopefully she'll share that with somebody else that needs it." And we, you know, I mean, it's men's only, but if somebody's listening, in, they're getting a good earful.
Wow, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. Well, thank you, for setting that up and being an example of what a good man is and a good leader and a good provider. I thank you for that. I don't have any sons, but for the men that, for the women that do and the people that do have sons, it's definitely needed. We need 1,000 more men like you, 1,000,000 more men like you in the world for sure. What is your next step? You have, I know with your Thursday, what is the name of your Thursday events?
Deal makers.
Deal Makers. I was going to call it Deal Machine. I don't know why I'm thinking Deal Machine. But with Deal Makers, now it's global. With this whole, the whole coronavirus, you've now gone global.
Yeah, we actually, I joked the other day about how Amazon has gained, what is it, something like $20 billion in 5 weeks,
right,
right? Because of a need. And for deal makers, um, there's a need for it. And we now have the opportunity to share with folks that used to say, "Hey, can you come to this city? Can you come to this city?" And here we go to whatever city we can make it to.
right,
But this thing has opened it up for us to do more. I think when things get back to whatever the new normal will be, we'll probably still meet as a group here, but we'll have it where it's on some kind of Zoom so those people can still continue to
great.
tune in because
Yeah,
it's a free event. It's a free event. And I love being in person because the brotherhood, sisterhood is amazing, that's in that room.
right.
All levels of investors, all types of resources. But I'm enjoying Dealmakers Global. Like when I say I enjoy it, I enjoy it.
That's fantastic. And so that means you're able to pick up deals. And I know I've seen a few properties that you have
Oh, yeah.
recently, and you're in multiple different markets. You're not just in the Atlanta, Georgia market currently.
Correct. So, when we, for the past probably, we've been in a couple other markets for the
Hmm.
past 10 to 12 years, but nothing like what happened after 2018. 2018, we went on tour. And we did, I think it was 27 cities in 24 weeks. And we started to build relationships in those cities. So those relationships are starting to, realize right now. And
Wow.
so like we're heavy in Cleveland and Birmingham, of course, anywhere in Georgia.
Right.
Uh, Lafayette, Louisiana, Detroit, Michigan. We're putting some feet into Chicago now. We got some partners out of Chicago. So Milwaukee is another very, very strong city where we have boots on the ground, property managers, real estate agents,
Wow.
wholesalers, where this is not just a virtual business. We really have strong teams there. I would say our team in Cleveland and Detroit is just as strong as our team in Atlanta.
Wow.
So we are starting to push a lot of deals through on in those cities. So it is Kia, what we envision, and you got to keep building that foundation. You got to keep adding pieces and keep putting systems in place. But it's what we envision for things, so that we can do business sitting in our living room, on the beach, as people say,
Right.
right, and we're still closing deals, and that's why this pandemic has been, although it's something sad, it's been a blessing in a sense. Not in a negative way. I don't want people to take it the wrong way, but it has, Akia, this is probably the calmest I've been since I've been an adult. This
Wow.
is probably the most I've sat still since I've been an adult, and I feel great. Like I
Right.
feel mentally, I'm starting to feel a whole lot better. because I'm not running, I'm not jumping in cars and airplanes.
Right,
I love where we are. It's gonna be hard to get me to change what we're doing now. It's gonna be
right.
hard.
Right. It's more in flow. So I mean, with all of that, with your events and when being a father and all of the things that you have going on, what would you say are some of your keys to success as a leader and as a man for the viewers that are watching? I know I want to thank, we have Truman watching, we have Harold Florence, Abdul watching, Amanda Clark, Latasha, my mom, Miss Jasmine, is watching, Harry
Hey, Miss
Mann
Jasmine.
watching. Harry Manning is watching as well. What would be some of your keys to success for the viewers when it comes to just life and business and just greatness?
So, Akia, I love it again. I love that you keys. I love it. So, first thing is you need to be spiritually in tune,
Mm,
um, because I think it begins there.
yep.
It begins there, Akia. No matter what we say, and I know that when my spirits are off,
Mm,
my business is off, my life is off. And if you just want to flow down the chart, next that mental piece, you know, being mentally as strong as possible, understanding what is mental balance would be amazing for us to be able to release and talk to people and have friends that you can talk to. And then after those two, I'll talk about like the money is a byproduct of all of this other stuff. The money is going to come. The money can go, but it'll definitely come. You're going to attract the money based on all these other things. So I think the third thing is, Akia, is building amazing relationships.
right.
And you don't have to have 7,000 people that you deal with on a regular basis, right? You need
Right.
a good core of people, and people will understand who you are. So no matter what position you're in, you're always able to reach out with those relationships.
Right.
Go deep with your relationship, and make sure that you are providing something to that relationship. Bring
Providing
something
value.
to the table. Bring the plate, the meat, and the cup, right, to the
Absolutely.
table. Don't just come to sit down and eat. And that's what a lot of people do. So I think that's the third thing, Akia. Then fourth thing is you really got to have a very, very strong work ethic.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
very, very strong. Because in this business, things can change overnight. It's very, very competitive.
Yeah.
Um, you will have to outwork some of your days. Again, we talked about it. Prayer, you're gonna have to outwork though. You're gonna have to pray for strength,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause a lot of times people pray to get out of a situation, and sometimes that's not what God wants. God wants you to sit in there till you learn what you're supposed to be learning.
Right.
So, I tell people to stop praying to get out, pray to have the strength to get through because you got
Mm,
to go through certain things. And so having that strong work ethic and strong mentality is something else that I say. And then another thing, Akia, just so you know, the relationship, the strong work ethics, being very disciplined and having ethics. So those will be my keys, right? Being very, very disciplined, working hard, and then having ethics. If you have the ethics and you build your relationships and you work hard, this business will be easier. I'm not gonna say easy, no such thing. It
right.
will be easier,
Easy.
and you will be successful.
Wow. Well, I thank you. I mean, those are all amazing, all phenomenal, and keys that I live by as well. And for the viewers that are watching, I know they are so grateful for you taking the time out to share some of your keys to success and your story and your journey. For the women and men who are on here, where can they follow you at? Where can they get more information on Mr. Ramon Tooks?
I'm Ramon Tookes on all social platforms, so Facebook,
Okay.
LinkedIn, and Instagram. And I'm not as active on LinkedIn as I should be. I just got in trouble about that,
Okay.
or Twitter. But Instagram and Facebook, I do my best. I'm probably on Instagram a little bit more, but
Okay.
we're working on that. Again, that's part of our growth.
That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your afternoon. One last question. Every morning you post a good morning to the world on your Facebook and maybe on your Instagram as well. How do you get up so early? And what is the inspiration that you have to just spread the love of God and prayer and just positive vibrations when you start your day?
You know what, Kia? That's probably a little country boy in me because I've always, all my life, gotten up early. My grandmother used to say, "You so like nosy," because I was a kid and I would pop up at like 6 o'clock.
Right.
As I got older, my high school buddies would say they knew their parents would say they could count on me to wake up the whole house because I would be calling my friends at like 7 in the morning, 6:30, like, hey man, let's go cut some grass, let's go
Wow.
get some money. So it's an internal clock that gets me up, and I just feel like it's like happy birthday. Akia, I love Facebook because it reminds me of birthdays, right? So I can tell people happy birthday, right? Because I know how I feel when people say happy birthday, but I also know how it feels when I'm somewhere and somebody says good morning, right? It's just people forget about it. It's just a
Right.
very, very good feeling. So I like to start off the morning on that side, and you know I always say God morning
Yeah.
because that's what it is, right?
Mhm.
And so when we say that and give some kind of inspiration for today, hopefully we're putting the right energy out there and it'll come back and we can send it back out. And you know, and if we continue to put the positive energy out there and encourage other folks and smile, then the world will be a better place.
Yes. Well, on that note, I thank you, Mr. Ramon Tookes, for
Thank you for
taking the
having me.
afternoon and adding a little sunshine to the keys to success today. It has been an absolute pleasure and a blessing. And to all of our viewers, I don't know if anyone has any questions for Ramon, but if you do, now's your time to ask. And like he said, you can reach him on any of his platforms as Ramon Tookes on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn sometimes when he's there. Thank you again for taking the time and for speaking with us this afternoon. I don't have very much more other than that. If there's any final words you'd like to say.
Heck yeah, again, I just want to say thank you. And thank you for continuing to do such an amazing job. I mean, I see you always smiling all over the country. So it's inspiring so many and continue to be a great mother and inspiration and a key piece to your family. Like I watch it, you know, I talk to your sisters, you know, I'm glad your mother's on here. Like I like that piece of it, you know, and a lot of times we all look at each other. I want to have my family the same way as we grow up, and we know we have fights and battles, but
Right.
if we grow together, as they say, we build this thing together. It's no way you can break it down. So again, thank you for all that you do, and thank you for having me on here.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, other than that, you guys, you tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. This Friday, we have our Power Couple session. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Everyone have a beautiful afternoon. Peace.
All right, same to you, Kia. All right, y'all.
Thank you.